It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show.
Welcome to the Dep Lewis Show, episode 135. This is your host, Dep Lewis, and today is Sunday, June 29th, 2025. A great day for a podcast about video games and more. So I hope you're doing great out there in the world, wherever and whenever you're listening to this. Thank you so much for being here. The first order of business, however, is to ask you to follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. So find the best place to subscribe and listen weekly. Places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, and more. YouTube is also a great place to watch me play some games live or check out the videos later. And then if you'd like to support the show even further than just listening, patreon.com/Dep Lewis Show is available if you'd like to subscribe monthly. Also Venmo at Dep Lewis Show is available any day, anytime, for any amount if you would like to support the show. And today's show, as always, is going to have three sections. The first section, I'll tell you about what video games I've been playing. The mid section, which is not mid in quality, is all the video game news and information, releases, rumors, speculation that you need to know that happened in the past week. And the third and final section is the Miscellaneous Talk section, where I can talk about anything I want to outside of the video game world. So I usually get into the worldwide world of sports and tell you what's going on with all my favorite teams, and that will be the case today as well. So it's going to be a great episode here of the Dep Lewis Show. All right, so let's get into it. The very first section today, we're going to talk about what video games I've been playing. So I am a proud Nintendo Switch 2 owner. I've been really enjoying the console, and I have been playing a game from Switch 1 on it that runs better on the Switch 2, and that is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This is a game that I have vowed to complete, so you've heard it here. Not first, maybe the 800th time that I'm going to complete this game. I'm trying to complete this game, and I'm making some progress. So since I've last talked to you, I have completed the entire map of Hyrule, so I have all the towers in the game, so I can see everything I need to see. I am down to one beast left. I reported that last week. Excuse me, I almost rode on a deer. I couldn't believe that. I jumped onto a deer's back. I tried to soothe the deer, but I was thrown off, so I really can't believe that you can ride deer in this game. And I did look it up, and you are able to ride the deer in the world, but you're not allowed to register them. So pretty hilarious. This world is, I guess, kind of almost like ever surprising. There's all sorts of different things around the world that can happen or do happen, or occurrences or things to interact with, or ways to, manipulate the world. So it's very impressive in that facet. And then so I've also claimed something that every link needs in a game, and that's the Master Sword. So I took myself to the Lost Woods, and I was able to obtain the Master Sword from the Great Deku Tree. So it was nice to see the Deku Tree in the game. You have to have 13 hearts in order to grab the Master Sword from the ground. So I was able to do so, and now I have a really strong weapon that can recharge on me. It's not going to degrade and be gone forever. So it's pretty nice. I've been using it a little bit. I've started the mission for the last Divine Beast. So I'm helping out the Gerudo people, and I had to take down the Yiga clan to get the Thunder Helm, to take on the Gerudo Divine Beast Va Naboris. So I've actually completed that. So the plan of the process of taking down the final Divine Beast is in play. I'm at the entrance of it. So with the Divine Beast, you usually have to get to them, you have to somehow, quell them. They're acting kind of crazy out there. Then you have to, go inside the dungeon and actually take them down for real. So a lot of times leading up to that, you have to do something as well. So that's the mission I just did. I had to take down the Yiga clan, and it was kind of tough in there. You had to do some sneaking around. You had to grab some bananas around the hideout and use them as bait. So you had to throw them around and let the guys chase them and then kind of run past them. So it was a little bit difficult. It took me some retries, and I can definitely see why people are saying this is the hardest Divine Beast in the game so far, the whole process of it. But I have the stealth armor. I read that was pretty helpful. I've got the stealth armor. It was pretty much one of my first armors to get because I really like it so much, the Sheik armor. But it was saying that is very helpful in this mission. So just a note to you out there in the world. So pretty fun. Fighting the head of the Yiga clan wasn't actually too tough. It was just more of a long battle than difficult, and I was really glad to get that over with. So I kind of hope I'll take down the Divine Beast this week. I think that's the kind of the plan. That's really the next main thing I have to do besides going shrine hunting or Korok seed hunting just for completionary sake or just for how many I want to do. But I think pretty much now I can take down the Divine Beast and then go after Ganon, and then I can say that I've completed a Legend of Zelda game, and it's going to be Breath of the Wild, and I am beyond excited about it. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say about this game. I've been having a whole lot of fun with it. I definitely think it's one of the best games ever created. I don't know where it's going to ultimately fall on my list, but I'm having a whole lot of fun with this, and I think I'll be looking forward to making some progress in Tears of the Kingdom after as well. I already have a file going there, about 70 hours in, 2 Divine Beasts down. I have a bunch of hearts, so I'm already making some good progress there. So I am having a lot of fun with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and then potentially Tears of the Kingdom after. But The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, that's the main thing. That's the main entree on my video game plate right now, and that's the one I'm trying to finish for sure. So loving that game. Alright, so more Switch 2 talk. I've been playing some Mario Kart World. I have completed all the Grand Prix races, so that's something I like doing in these games. And basically this week has been some online racing and some open world. So the online racing has been fun. I do not think I am good at the online racing. I've been finishing middle of the pack most of the time. I've been kind of fighting to get in middle of the pack, so I think that's kind of fun because I enjoy the racing, and it shows that there is a lot of room for improvement out there and learning the courses and having fun. And I gotta say, the online works really great. It's fun. Once you match up with a group of people, basically, you're just rolling. You just can. It takes a little bit to get into the first race, but then after you're with your group and some people, then it kind of keeps rolling into the races after that pretty quickly. So a really, really great time there. It's fun to listen to podcast or music while playing that, and kind of the same with the open world too. If you don't want to go for racing people online, which I don't think is too much of a big deal because it doesn't take that long. The races are pretty quick. It gets you in and out of the races quickly, and it reminds me a little bit of Splatoon a little bit, with minus the disconnects, but of being an online mode in a game that's easy to get into, easy to get out of, very fun to play, and I enjoyed that about it. So I think it's going to be something I'll just boot up kind of when I'm bored or just feeling like it, and I think this is a great Mario Kart game. So I'm still playing. I've been leaning a lot on the Waluigi side of things this week. I've been back using the standard cart since I'm doing these online races and having some fun with the Mario Kart World. So I'm trying to think what else I want to say. I think it is Game of the Year for me right now. I've been having the most fun with it. I think it's the best new game that I've played, and I planned on playing this for a long time, so having some fun with that. I also have been playing some Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I've still been trying to play that and complete some of the Grand Prix races there because I have not completed all the Grand Prix. I think I've done all the 50s, and I think I've started into the 100s now. But there are 20 something different packs of courses in that game, or whatever it may be. I think it is 24. So 24 times 4, there's a million courses in that game. I guess 48 of them. And I think there might be more than that, but a lot of courses, a lot of things to be done, a lot of them different modes. I think that one goes up to 200cc in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So I'm doing a lot of racing this year, and it's been very fun. So I'm trying to think what else to say about Mario Kart World. I'm going to talk about some more racing in a minute here, but Mario Kart World's been fun, and I think I'm past the initial hype of playing a ton of it, but I definitely see myself booting it up and playing it from time to time, and I've been having a whole lot of fun with it. So Game of the Year right now for the Dep Lewis Show, as of June 29th, 2025, is Mario Kart World. So we will see how that changes as the year goes on, but we are halfway through, so there is a little bit of an update. So those have been the two main things I've been playing on my Nintendo Switch 2. I have been playing some Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Nintendo Switch 1. I think that's one of those games. I've been trying out some games between the two consoles, Switch 1 and Switch 2, and I think some of the games, if they have not received an update, they might not particularly look better on the Switch 2, and I think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is one of those that I think right now is running better on an original Switch. So pretty interesting to note there. I think there are a few games that have gotten updates. I think Mario 3D All-Stars or Mario, the 3D package where they have 64, Galaxy, and oh man, what's the other one in the package? Oh yeah, Sunshine. That one, I don't think it looks any better. I downloaded it. I think it's still running better, or if not the same on Switch 1, so I don't know if it's been optimized or upgraded yet. So I think that is something to take note of with these games, that not all of them have been upgraded for Switch 2 and might not necessarily just look better immediately. So I think that's kind of an interesting, a little bit confusing kind of thing. And I also wonder if games like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe are going to get some type of actual Switch 2 upgrade. I don't know if they will, because it might kind of cut into their Mario Kart World market share, but I don't know. They have 1 million people that have that game, so they could certainly be interested in having an upgraded version. So just, something I've noticed from having both of these consoles now and trying out some games between them. But been having a lot of fun with the Switch 2, playing some Switch 1 still, so it's not completely obsolete. And the other thing I've been playing that I've been teasing for a bit, I think I'm going to create a video series off of this, is I am now the proud owner, once again, of an Xbox 360. And this is an Xbox 360 Slim, and it is the Halo 4 edition. So I want to thank friend of real life and friend of the show, Stoop Woot, for sending this to me. He is, cleaning out some of his house stuff, something he hasn't played in a long time. So he sent me a box of some old video games that he has. So it included a Halo 4 Edition 360, some controllers. It has the Halo 4 controller in there, which is epic. He sent me some cool stuff from Brandon Sanderson, which was nice, not video game related. And then he also sent me some N64 games in there. So a random hodgepodge of video game stuff, but an exceptional, wonderful package to see show up at your door, and something I've been having fun playing around with this week. So I now have an Xbox 360 Slim, one of my favorite consoles ever, one of my most nostalgic consoles ever, and it's pretty cool to have this Halo 4 one. This is one that Stu Boot bought. It wasn't his main early on 360. This is one he bought later on, I think, just to play Call of Duty pretty much. And it's funny to see that, back when we were playing this console, it was probably, at least 10 years ago that we were still playing this console, maybe more. And it was just a different time, a different day. I was younger, and we have, when I booted this console up, it had all my friends' profiles on. So there's like at least 4 or 5 of my friends that, main friend group that have their profile on this console, which is pretty funny. And it just kind of goes back to, you'd go over to your buddy's house, you'd log into their console, you'd be able to play multiplayer, you'd be able to play co-op games, and just how often that happens. So, nowadays more so you're just connecting online. And I think pretty much all my friends still play video games, just to varying degrees, but it's just a pretty cool thing to see, a little trip down memory lane. And one of the immediate things I noticed when I booted up the console, I'm like, oh my gosh, look at all of our profiles on there. I really do remember the days of you would have your profile on multiple people's consoles, and if you went to their house and stuff like that, you'd play on it. So just a little blast from the past there. But I've been having fun with this. I think my plans for the 360, I think is a little bit, this is the thing I've been teasing. I want to do a ranking of 360 games. And I guess I'm trying to think exactly how to do this, or when to do it, or how I want to do it. And my overall thought so far would be, it's a little bit of a copy of Jeff Gerstmann, one of my favorite podcasters of all time. I guess probably my favorite. But he does a ranking of NES games, and he's been doing this for a long time. And then recently he had Dan Reichert on his podcast, and Dan Reichert was telling him how jealous he was that Gerstmann had that idea and was doing it. And it made me think, in that moment, I was like, man, what console would I do if I wanted to do a ranking of a console? And it really had me going. And I think 360 was the one I ultimately did settle on. So, I think it's a great console. I think I've completed a lot of games for it. I think it is during my most nostalgic time of video gaming, or one of my fondest memories back during those days. I was kind of in high school going into college time. So a lot of time for gaming, a lot of friends playing. One of the main things we would do as a group. So a lot of nostalgia here with the 360, and I think it would be fun to do. So that's the kind of thing I've been kicking around. I want to do, I think it's going to be called the Dep Box 360 official rankings, and I'm going to rank Xbox 360 games. I don't know exactly how I want to do it. I guess that's a little bit of the hang up from just jumping in and getting started. But I think this can be kind of like an evergreen series I do. I can rank a game at any time. I can buy a game at any time I feel like it. Not like Mr. Moneybags over here, but 360 games are generally pretty cheap. So if I want to pick up a game and play it for a month or whatever it may be, and then decide to make a video and rank it, I think that's going to be a pretty fun thing to do, and something I can get recommendations from people out there in the world of what they think their best 360 game is. I could possibly pick it up, have a little bit of fun trying to go find the games or figure out how I'm going to play it. So I think there's a lot to it. So you can expect in the future, I believe, a Dep Box 360 official rankings video series coming out where I'm going to be ranking these games. I don't know. That's the one question. I don't know if I'm going to complete the games, or if I'm just going to pick a game, play it for however long I feel like is necessary, and then once that's done, make a video about it. So no type of strict scheduling with this, but just enough where I feel comfortable talking about the game, knowing the ins and outs of it, even if I haven't completed it possibly, and come on here and tell you about it, make a video playing around in the game and telling you what I like or don't like about it, and then giving it a ranking. So it's not going to be, I can't anticipate it being the most fully fleshed out, like 100% every game and then rank it. I think it's got to be something a little bit different for my play style, and that's kind of my thinking. So I think it's going to be a little bit of a memory ranking and a little bit of a current testing ranking. So I don't want to rank a game I haven't played currently, but there could be scenarios where I play a game, get into it, just play it for a couple hours and say, hey, this is an amazing game, and I'm going to rank it number 4 on the list, and it's going to be an ever-changing list. So something I am kicking around right now in my mind, and I plan to have a lot of fun with it. So I have picked up a couple games so far in anticipation or in excitement of getting this console. So I picked up Mass Effect. That was the first game I got. I ordered it from Double Jump Video Games, a great an independent game store, and they're located in Vancouver, Washington, the United States. They have an online aspect to their store too, which is nice. They have a pretty impressive selection, and I think they do a great job of making it clear of the condition of the game you're getting. I think that's pretty important with buying some of these old games. Is you want I want the condition to be good. I'm not trying to get a perfect sealed game, but I like to have, if I'm buying something old or used, I would hopefully like it to be in decent condition if possible. So, and with a lot of these games being so cheap, I think it's worthwhile to try to get a better condition one, and Double Jump Video Games is good for that. So I picked up Mass Effect from them, and I also picked up these other 3 games from them too. So please go check out their website. They do YouTube videos. They're on Whatnot, which is fun. Their Whatnot they do throughout the week, and it's basically just a showcase of their store. So they just walk around with the camera showing off the store, selling things at the price that are listed. So it's very fun. And someone who likes to kick around a video game store and see video games and see new stuff and see trade-ins, it's kind of one of my more enjoyable things I watch during the week. So please go check out Double Jump Video Games. Sick Cooper is the head over there. He has his own channel, and they do some really good content that's enjoyable for video game fans. So please go check them out as well. But this 360 has been fun. So I'm trying to think what else I want to tell you about it. I was telling you about the games I picked up. So I picked up Mass Effect was the first one, and then I ordered a little bundle for Forza Motorsport 3, Halo 4, and Crackdown. So I want to get a smattering of games that I've played before, games I haven't played before, games people loved, really maybe some niche games, maybe some ones that I've never even thought about playing. So, and then at the end of it, I'm going to have this, kind of a cool 360 collection. So I think it's a pretty fun plan to do, and it has been inspired by the great Stoop Woot sending me his Xbox 360 Slim Halo 4 edition. So some of the other things I want to say about the 360, just from my couple weeks now of having one and playing on it again, I think the simplicity of the console is nice. So that's from the menus, that's from jumping into the games, that's from the speed of booting up a game and getting to start playing. I think there's just something nice and simple about it, of this era. You can pop a disc in, you can play. You also have the ability on this console to install your disc to the console. So if you want to, in the menu, pull up your game, you can install the disc, and it helps it, it doesn't make I don't think it makes the disc spin while you're playing it. I think it makes it run smoother, makes a little less stress on the console, and just a nice little upgrade. So one thing I have noticed too, that these games, one thing I have noticed that the downloads take a long time. So I'm getting ahead of myself. So putting a physical game in, you can install it, and then you can play it. So I think that's pretty cool. And also, you can play your digital games on here. So if you have been like an Xbox Series X owner or an Xbox One owner, if you bought Xbox 360 games on that digital store, you can download them on your 360. So I think this is pretty cool. I don't know if back in the day, like during the actual time of 360 era, if you were able to do this. I think this has come along more recently when they've added backwards compatible 360 games to the more modern platforms, where you can actually just go on the store now and purchase them. So I was able to download, and some of these games you get for free, like through Xbox Gold over the years. So I have a collection of digital Xbox 360 games. I have 10 of them or so. Like I have Assassin's Creed, I have Red Dead Redemption, I have Forza Horizon, the first one. I had Burnout Paradise. So I actually downloaded Forza Horizon and Burnout Paradise to my console. So this 360 I have is kind of being turned into a racing machine, but that's, kind of okay with me. It's it's one of my favorite genres, and Forza is one of my favorite franchises ever. But I kind of forget where I was going with that. But the simplicity of the console is nice. The download speeds. Yeah, if you have digital games, you can download them. It does take a long time, is the only negative side. But I mean, hey, this is a 20-year-old console. But the cool part is, like, if you're downloading Red Dead, I think it's a 9 gig download or a 6 gig download. This console has, I think, 320 gigs on it. So you could potentially download a lot of video games on here, and it just takes a while. So that was kind of a cool thing. I was thinking I was going to have to go hunting physical games to do for this video series, but I can also tap into the digital store, and the digital store has a lot of great deals. Sometimes the physical games the prices on them can be up a lot higher than the digital price sometimes. So I think it's going to be a good option for, just trying to play these games or have them. I think I would like to have physical copies for the most part, but if there's some digital sales on some games, I appreciate saving the space and saving the money. So I think it is only going to help out my enjoyment of playing the 360 in modern times, and potentially doing this video series I'm thinking about. But the download speeds take a long time. That's one thing I've noticed. Even with my good internet, it's still taking a long time. So I guess that's some type of hardware limitation. But the HDMI makes this thing very easy to use as an old console. So I think this is the first console that ever used an HDMI to hook it up. I think this and the PS3 were the first two. So as far as retro goes, this would be the most simple. I don't know if you want to call Xbox 360 retro, but it definitely is a couple generations old. So it's the beginning of the HDMI connection for consoles, and I think that really helps with playing these old games, because most TVs nowadays have HDMI, or seemingly all TVs have HDMI. I think they will for a while. You'll be able to find HDMI TVs for a long time in this current situation, and I don't think it's a bad idea. So I've looked up prices. I don't know how much the Halo 4 one runs for, but you can buy just a regular Xbox 360 Slim for about $100. So I think it is a great thing to do if you want to play some old games. If you have some nostalgia, if you never played those games, I think they hold up. The 1080p looks good. I really am only able to stream or upload video in 1080p based on the device I have. The Elgato only captures up to 1080, so I mean, nothing really lost there for me. I think these games still look good. Forza Horizon 3, Forza Motorsport 3, it looks good. I'm noticing that the colors are pretty bright in this. It doesn't look as like photorealistic, but it is colorful and good looking, and controls just as great, and I'm having fun with it. So you're probably going to hear me talking about a lot of Forza this year. There's some potential I might want to like rank all the Forza games, or something like that. But 360 has 5 of them. I think Xbox One has 6 of them. So there's some potential for me picking up an Xbox One in the future, maybe a Series X again, trying to collect some of these Forza games or play them. And I don't know. This is a nice little introduction back into the Xbox side of things as someone who traded my Series X for the Nintendo Switch 2 earlier in the year. It's nice to be back on the Xbox side of things, holding the Xbox controller. And I think Xbox 360 is one of my favorite consoles ever. So it's been fun having it. Thank you to Stoop Woot. And, you're going to be hearing more about this on the show as I go forward. So I'm trying to think of what else I have to talk about the 360 at this point. It's basically just going to be me playing some games whenever I feel like I've played one in modern time long enough or enough to talk about it that I'm going to make a video on it and rank it. And then I'm going to pick up games from time to time. So I think part of the shtick here will be to tell you where I get the games from, tell you the prices, tell you the deals, tell you what to look out for, and have a little bit of a retro video series in here, or a little bit of some more retro talk mixed in with all the current modern stuff that I generally talk about. So I think it could be a good balance. I got into the retro stuff again sometime last year, so there's a big community out there that is into retro gaming. It is a whole subset of the gaming community, and I think there's definitely some crossover, and I am going to, I'm in that community now myself, so going to be talking a little bit about the modern, a little bit about the retro, and the Xbox 360 is going to be getting some rankings done to it. So that's the plan. That's what I've been playing over here. Excuse me. It's the year of no direction on the Dep Lewis Show, so nothing in particular I'm trying to do. And I've been thinking about this a little bit. My only direction is to complete The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The last 2 years, I've done the year of survival horror and the year of RPGs. And I was trying to think about this. I don't know if I'm a survival horror fan, but I'm a fan of The Last of Us. So The Last of Us is kind of in the survival horror vein, but I don't know if it actually translated to me liking other survival horror games. And I kind of think last year, being the year of the RPG, I completed Final Fantasy VII Remake, but I haven't really completed any other RPGs. And so I don't know if I'm just a Final Fantasy fan more so than an RPG fan. So that's something I'm kind of looking at myself and thinking about, and just interesting. So it kind of makes me think maybe I should do another year of a certain genre. It could be like the year of racing or something like that. I don't know if it's worth it doing for the second half of the year, but I don't know. It's really been a lawless year over here for direction, and it hasn't resulted in me completing many games, but I don't know if that is ultimately what I need to be doing. I really don't know, but that's the fun point of having a podcast. I can think about these things. I really enjoy doing rankings. I like thinking about my video game hobby here and how to play it, how to enjoy it, how to change it up, and you get a little bit of that here. So that is the one thing I definitely can guarantee that you're going to be hearing on the Dep Lewis Show. My ramblings about my video game thoughts. So that's going to wrap up this first section. That's everything I've been playing. I've been playing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, Mario Kart World, and I've been playing an Xbox 360, an ancient, old Xbox 360 console. And that thing's very quiet too. The one complaint though, the power button on it is so sensitive that if you have an animal in your house, their tail can walk by and turn on the console quite easily, or turn it off. So I've actually turned this console sideways in my little entertainment area here. So Daisy Dog can't walk by and turn my game off. I was worried about her turning it on, but I was like, damn, maybe turning it off is the bigger worry. So a very sensitive button. This Halo 4 edition actually has a blue light on it, which is cool. It makes its own unique sound. So I think this has to be one of the coolest, if not the coolest, variations of an Xbox 360. I think there's one other one I saw out there that's in contention for looking this cool, but it's definitely one of the coolest consoles I own now. I think my Halo 360 or my the Pikachu. I have the Japanese, I believe, the Pikachu 3DS, and those things. That one I don't even want to play because it's so cool. But this Halo 4, I'm playing. I'm getting a nostalgia blast out of it and having a whole lot of fun with it. So, go play some 360 out there in the world. So that's everything for the first section. You're going to hear some lovely break music. We're going to come back for the mid-section where I tell you about everything going on around the video game world that you need to know, so you don't want to miss it. Go take a quick break and come right back after this. Welcome back to the mid-section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 135. This is where I tell you about what is going on around the video game world that you need to know. And the first one is actually a video game release that came out last week. It's something I've been mentioning, but I just want to make sure you know that it's available. And I actually did pick this game up. I just haven't played a ton of it yet. That is Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. This released on June 26, 2025 for PlayStation 5. The back of the box talk on this is embark on an inspiring mission of human connection beyond the UCA. Sam, the main character with companions by his side, sets out on a new journey to save humanity from extinction. Join them as they traverse a world beset by otherworldly enemies, obstacles, and a haunting question: should we have connected? Step-by-step, legendary game creator Hideo Kojima changes the world once again. It has a unique and realistic world, evolved in more flexible action, a deep and captivating story, and a social strand system. So all those notes were from the previous week, but I just want to mention that this game is available right now. I did pick it up. My initial thoughts on it are the game looks amazing. I think it's interesting. I think the characters and the world building are pretty good. The characters are immediately memorable. As someone who hasn't played Death Stranding 1, I think they do a good job of a recap, and then I think they do a good job of introducing these characters and kind of setting up what's going on. I think the game looks amazing. I think the open world mechanics of like the platforming around it's like I said, interesting. It's unique. It's fun. It's kind of more fun than you think. A lot of people call this a walking simulator, but I think all the indicators on the screen, the way your character moves, the scenery, I think this is one of the better looking video games I've ever seen before. And I just think it's very, very interesting. So I don't know how much of this I'm going to play. I plan on, I don't know. I got to think about my video gaming habits as I go with things like this. This is something that I would like to play. I think is really cool, but I really don't know. I just don't know what the hang up is. I think I just have too many games. I can't play them all, but this is one that I wanted to pick up because I think a lot of games recently, especially physical copies, you aren't able to, I don't know if you're not able to, but they're getting harder and harder to get if you don't want one, if you want one after release. So even with like Claire Obscure Expedition 33, that's one that I had some interest in. That game's been getting, hype over the moon, hype all over, and that game is sold out everywhere. So if you wanted a physical copy of that game, you wouldn't really be able to, and that's kind of one that I wish that I just had picked up. Even if I never played it, just could be something I have in my collection. Maybe I would play it in the future and just have the option to have a physical one instead of having to buy a digital one. So that is something I'm trying to do less of as time goes on, and a little bit of the reason for jumping and grabbing this. But I am a Hideo Kojima fan. Metal Gear 4 is one of my favorite games ever. It's the only Metal Gear game I've completed, and really, I guess the only other one I've played is Metal Gear 5, but Metal Gear 4 was kind of eye-opening to me as a video game and to Kojima and that kind of thing. So definitely very memorable, and he gets a lot of credence from me, or a lot of respect from me over the years. So glad to pick this up. I don't have any grand plans on trying to complete this or play it, but this is something I'm poking my head around with, and I think it looks really, really cool. So I think this could be on people's Game of the Year list, and I'm excited to play more about it and talk about it. Definitely want to make a video at some point showing it off and telling you more what I think about it. So I didn't really want to put it in the first section since I haven't played enough of it. I've maybe played like an hour or two, and I am just going to play it as I see fit. So Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, available right now. All right, what else has happened this week that you need to know about? This game has been announced already, but it got a release date, and that is Everybody's Golf Hot Shots. So this got a release date announcement for September 5th, 2025. It's coming out for PlayStation 5, Steam, and Nintendo Switch. The developer is Hyde, Hyde is the company. And let's party is what they say. Everybody's favorite golf game series finally returns to the fairway. Hit the green with a variety of unique characters and courses in online and offline matches for both single and multiplayer modes. The 3-button shot mechanic lets anybody jump in and begin playing. Just aim, time the 3-button presses, and hit the perfect shot. It's easy to learn yet challenging to master, so I could see myself picking this up. I was thinking recently, and I think from typing these notes, that I like golfing games and I never played them. So this inspired me to re-download Mario Golf on my Nintendo Switch 1, and I was actually playing some of that over the weekend. So I didn't mention that in the first section either, but I play all sorts of random stuff during the week, and it's kind of hard to keep up with even myself of what I played. But I played some Mario Golf. That's a game I purchased when it came out, and I played for maybe 15 hours and just kind of fell off of it. But I played this again, was having some fun. I played golf. I'm a real life golf fan. I played recently, and I was like, hey, this could be a perfect game. So I sat on my porch. I was playing some Mario Golf. I played a couple rounds with Pauline is actually who I was using, and doing pretty well. So, golf games are extremely fun. I don't know why I don't play them more often, and it might be something you hear me talk about a little more in the future. So I kind of forgot I was playing that last night, but I did have a lot of fun with it. So Everybody's Golf Hot Shots is another one coming out September 5th. I never played the original release, but I think a lot of people say that's one of the better golf games created, or one people like the most. So I think this could be a cool release, and it is actually going to release on September 5th, 2025. Everybody's Golf Hot Shots. All right, a game that got announced in the past few weeks, Persona 4 Revival, has a little more clarity on the release date and when that's coming out, and it's not really anytime soon. I think people were kind of overreacting to this, saying that it was too long, but because I guess people, when you heard the announcement, maybe thought it was coming this year. But this game, according to Sega's fiscal report, is not going to will release in fiscal year 2027 or beyond. So I guess this is after April 26 at the earliest. So, April 26 is only 10 months away or whatever it may be. That's not too long. But I just guess people, and kind of myself included, thought this game was a little more cooked as a remaster. But if they need more time, that's fine with me. I'm still trying to play Persona 3 Reload over here. They have Metaphor. I have a lot of Persona and Atlas stuff I want to play. I possibly want to play that Raidu game. The Shin Megami Tensei 5 is one I own, and maybe need to re-download and try that again. So I have a lot of, along with some of these, I guess I should, maybe think about these trends. I'm really into the Atlas stuff these days, so that is just why I have a little bit of gained interest here. But Persona 4 Revival, so that is the news. So we're not going to get this at least until April 2026, but that is probably okay with me, and hopefully okay with you out there in the world. You can play the original versions of these games too. They're $9.99 for Persona 3 Portable and $9.99 for Persona 4 Golden. So I thought about picking those up even and just having them in my arsenal of things to try, since I'm enjoying those games so much. And it would be kind of fun to see the difference between the two. And I don't know, but very cool. Persona 4 Revival, going to be coming out sometime next year, it looks like, and just wanted to mention that to you about the release date. All right, there was a showcase this week. I did not actually watch this one, so please go check this out if you'd like to. But I just want to quickly mention this one. Arc System Works Showcase took place on June 26th. So it was around 34 minutes in length. And this was Arc System Works, the Japanese developer and publisher who's created games like Guilty Gear and BlazBlue, showing off some of their latest info on their games, including announcement of new titles. So in addition to the latest information on various gaming titles, including completely new titles developed and published by Arc Systems Works, we will also announce a new project that Taisuke Ishiwatari is working on. So I did not actually watch this, but if you would like to go check that out, that's available out there on the internet now. And just, that was a showcase that took place last week. And I've played BlazBlue and Guilty Gear, and think those are really cool. I got into those on the PlayStation 3, in the PlayStation 3 era. So that's probably the first time I heard of Arc Systems Works, and just a really cool, stylish company that makes some good fighting games. So definitely probably some good information in there. Some cool upcoming games. I think Double Dragon Revive was in there. I think that's that might have been the Capcom showcase, but actually I think that was the Arc Systems Works. But I could be mixing things up, so please go check them for yourself. Yeah, there was a Capcom showcase too. I don't think I really talked about that or watched it. There were some updates to Monster Hunter Wilds and a few of their other games, but nothing that I felt like I needed to point out specifically on this show today. One thing I wanted to point out specifically on the show today are some rumors. And there are some major rumors for some Xbox/Microsoft layoffs coming next week. So, T's and P's to all those people that are going to be affected. It really seems like this layoff hammer is going to be coming down. So these have been heavily rumored for next week. Layoffs across Microsoft and falling heavily on the Xbox division. Forza Motorsport Turn 10 Studios is bracing for layoffs, and I am very sorry to hear that, because they are one of my favorite studios in the universe. I was playing Forza Motorsport 3 last night. Seeing that Turn 10 logo gets me hype, and I think this doesn't speak to the quality of their video games. I think this is going to be a business move, and I think a lot of these business moves are making these business moves. So Xbox is reportedly going to lay off about up to 2,000 jobs. That's very substantial, and I will keep you up to date on this next week as this information comes out. But I guess giving everybody a little bit over there a heads up, and going to be a bad week over there for Xbox. And they're going through a weird time. They are really going through a weird time, I would say. They've had a resurgence a little bit with their video games, but their video games are also going multi-platform. They are partnering to make a handheld later in the year, or that's coming out later in the year. Their next console is going to be partnering with the big tech manufacturer, I guess AMD. So they have a little bit of a different direction going on here. And these layoffs, they're always going to tell you it's a restructuring. They're trying to reallocate resources. But I don't know if I see the complete vision over there at Xbox. I think it's a little bit all over the place. And I would question it a little bit more so than just be trusting them. So I'll keep you up to date on this. Thoughts and prayers to everyone going to be affected by the Xbox layoffs or who has been laid off in the video game world recently. I know last year I reported on a ton. There's been some this year as well. And I guess that's just going to be a consistent thing across the universe. Maybe it really just is. But it's sad either way. All right, so some more Xbox news. I told you about their layoff, so that's going to set the scene here for Xbox and what you think about them right now. But they're also pushing a MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition that's been announced. So this was announced on June 24th, and the comments below that I'm going to read are from Lori Wright, the Corporate Vice President of Xbox Partnerships and Marketing. So this is her telling you about the MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition. Today, in collaboration with Meta, we are excited. So they're doing a lot of collaborating over here, it seems like now, even just reading about this. With Meta, we are excited to announce the launch of the MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition. The MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition limited edition release, the first limited edition ever for Quest, is part of our ongoing partnership and celebrates the expansion of Xbox Cloud Gaming beta on MetaQuest headsets. So I'm not into the cloud gaming. Maybe it's going to be a thing for the future. I don't think the technology is quite caught up to what people would expect these days. And then this is also me speaking from someone who is privileged to have a lot of video games and different consoles. So maybe if that's your only way to play, then it's feasible. But just as someone who plays a lot of video games, knows a lot about them, a lot about them, and is into the hobby, I don't think that is the whole cloud gaming thing is not something that sparks my interest. And maybe I'm just an older gamer, but I think that could be a consistent feeling across generations. And then Lori Wright talking more about the MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition. Over the past several years, Xbox has expanded the Xbox Cloud gaming experience to more places and more players. Since the announcement of the Xbox app on Quest, our goal has been to empower more people to play their favorite games wherever, to whenever and wherever they want. Today with the MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition, we are bringing this vision to life with a new design that celebrates Xbox's iconic aesthetic. The MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition bundle, for the first time ever, they're thrilled to deliver a Quest headset that not only delivers incredible mixed reality experiences, but also is crafted for Xbox fans. The MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition is available today for $400 US, and it comes loaded with everything you need to start gaming on a massive virtual display the moment you open the box. So I've never been into virtual reality. I've maybe halfway thought about buying one on the sale, but that was a really half-hearted attempt, and I don't think I have any interest in it. I don't think they are going to sell me yet on having something that covers my face to play a video game, be sitting in my house like that. I don't know. It just seems like a funny thing to me. I like the old school setup of a TV and, playing on a TV. I'm a little bit more into handheld stuff these days, so I think that's a little bit of a transition. Who knows in the future, maybe I'll be playing exclusively in VR, but I really don't believe it. I'll be interested to see over the course of my life how the adoption of VR, but it's just something that I'm a little more interested in from the outside than actually participating in it myself. But Xbox has a new MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition coming, and I guess with all these things that Xbox is partnering with, it's going to, you're going to have the device, and then you're going to have just better Xbox integration or functionality in there. So if you want to access your Xbox games, which I am realizing I do own a good bit of digital Xbox games, it's not a bad idea, but it seems like we are going to have, as time goes on, more and more choices of where to play games, of how to play games, and I think it's going to be tough for these companies to really sell you on theirs. I think there's a lot of these things being made, and I think this will, maybe with this one, you're really going to have to just be catering to the Xbox fans, people who have built large digital libraries, or people who are, just more involved in that network or ecosystem of things. You're going to capture them, but I don't know about capturing new people here. I just don't know. But MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition available now. All right, a couple more things to tell you about. I guess these are all kind of Nintendo related here to end out the midsection of Dep Lewis Show episode 135. The Nintendo Switch 2 has got a couple free updates for select Nintendo Switch games. So by connecting your Nintendo Switch 2 to the internet and performing a system update, you can download free updates for selected games that may improve graphics or add support for features such as game share. The contents of these free updates will differ depending on the game. And this is kind of what I was talking about in the first section. I think kind of right now where we're at, you want to stick to playing If you want to play a Nintendo Switch 1 game on your Nintendo Switch 2, I would say maybe check to see if it's had one of these free updates done to it, or it might just be better to run on your Switch 1. Or I guess if you only have a Switch 2, then you don't really have an option. But if you're trying to run the game in the best fashion, I think there are some things to be considered here in this transition between these two consoles. But the games that have received official Nintendo Switch 2 upgrades have been ARMS Big Brain Academy, Brain vs. Brain, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics, Game Builder Garage, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Pokemon Scarlet, Pokemon Violet, Splatoon 3, a wonderful, amazing video game, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, Super Mario Odyssey, which is currently on sale for $39.99 US on the digital store for a couple weeks, so please go check that out, and that's one I might actually pick up myself too. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom and The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, those are all some games that have received free Nintendo Switch 2 upgrades, so I just wanted to make you aware of that and just kind of put that out there too, that there is a little bit to consider here when playing your Switch 1 games on the Switch 2. I don't think they all automatically just run better. So please, check them out on an individual basis. And there's a list right there from Nintendo of the games that have been deemed Nintendo Switch 2 worthy, or officially Nintendo Switch 2 upgraded. All right. So for Nintendo Switch 2, there is a Nintendo GameCube section of Nintendo Classics that's available. There's only 3 games currently available on there right now: Soul Calibur, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, and F-Zero GX. And being added on July 3rd will be Super Mario Strikers. So Mario out there playing the footy on the pitch, playing the soccer, playing the football. And that's an excellent video game. So I'll be excited to play this. It's going to be cool to have online functionality in this game. This was a game back in the day you'd want to go over to your friend's house and play. A very, very popular multiplayer game, get together and play. So I think being able to play this online with people is going to be cool. Hopefully introduce it to a new section of fans, and then also recapture some of the old fans here. So Super Mario Strikers coming to Nintendo GameCube for Nintendo Classics on Nintendo Switch 2 is being added on July 3rd. You have to have the Nintendo Switch Online plus the expansion pack to access this, and it's an all-out soccer brawl. So Mario and friends clash in this extreme soccer game originally released for the Nintendo GameCube system in 2005. Matches unfold with white-hot speed, intensity, and familiar items like shells and mushrooms to give you a boost in crushing your opponent. But the real key to winning is the Super Strike, a powerful shot that can net you 2 points at once. Jump right into the simple controls, hone your techniques, and hit the pitch with Mario and his friends. So this game originally released November 2005 and will hit Nintendo Online on July 3rd, and that's Super Mario Strikers. So I'll be playing some of that and trying it out at least. All right, what else is happening with Nintendo? They have announced Drag and Drive. This is the wheelchair basketball game that we've all seen out there. And this now has an official release date of August 14th, 2025 for Drag and Drive. This is going to be a digital-only game for Nintendo Switch 2. It costs $19.99 US. It's the next generation of 3-on-3 sports that's coming to the Nintendo Switch 2 system. Hold each Joy-Con 2 controller like a mouse for tight control of both your wheels. As you speed around the court, raise your hand and flick your wrist to shoot and score. Team up with or take on friends and other players from near and far online in fast-paced 3-on-3 matches. So this game looks a little bit like Rocket League. It looks like a cool showcase of the motion controls, of the mouse controls, but I don't think I'm interested in it. I think it's an interesting thing. I think it looks more kind of like a tech demo of the console. I think this and maybe the Wonder, the Welcome Tour, should have possibly been included or in a package together. That's just me being a dumb person on the online wishing, but I just don't think these are things I would pay for. I think they could have be potentially cool, but I think if these would have been packaged, they could have been more of a smash hit. I don't really think these things are going to take off, making people purchase them, but that's just kind of my general take on it from a quick guessing standpoint. So Dragon Drive is going to release for Nintendo Switch 2 on August 14th, 2025. And the last thing I want to mention today in the midsection is Nintendo has a digital summer sale going on. So if you're listening in real time or anytime up until July 9th, the summer sale is going on and it coasted in, is what they said. So you can save on a cool selection of digital Nintendo Switch 2 games, or Nintendo games, I don't know why I wrote Switch 2, but games like Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury and Super Mario Odyssey are both $39.99 right now, so a great deal on those. I think Odyssey is one that pretty much everyone should buy. And then The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening and Luigi's Mansion 2 HD are both $41.99, so pretty similar sale on those games there. So please go check that out if you're looking for some digital games, maybe some of these games that aren't generally on sale, or classic games, or Super Mario Odyssey is a classic game, so if you want to go pick that up digitally right now, it's on sale. So that's everything I have for you for the midsection of the show today. We talked about Death Stranding 2 on the beach, available now. We talked about everybody's golf hot shots, Persona 4 Revival, Arc Systems Works Showcase, Xbox Layoffs, the MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition, Nintendo Switch 2, Super Mario Strikers, Dragon Drive, and the Nintendo Summer Sale going on right now. So that is all the video game news and thoughts and information that I can think to bring to you this week, and hopefully you enjoyed it. But there is one final section of the show, the Miscellaneous Talk section, which is the break from the video gaming, and that's going to take place after this music. So come right back. Welcome back to the final section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 135, the Miscellaneous Talk section, where I can talk about anything I want to outside of the video game world. So I want to get into the worldwide world of sports, as always, and tell you what's going on with my favorite team. So starting off with the NFL, my favorite team is the Carolina Panthers. Nothing to report there except it's the offseason. The preseason begins on August 8th, 2025, and the regular season begins Sunday, September 7th, 2025 at Jacksonville. So I want to keep those dates in your brain and in my brain as well. So go Panthers. All right, so for the NBA, it is now officially the offseason. The Oklahoma City Thunder have won the NBA Finals, Game 7. They beat the Indiana Pacers. Poor Tyrese Halliburton got injured early in the game, tore his Achilles, and was not able to play. I think that happened like 4 minutes into the game. The Pacers put up a fight and was pretty impressive. So they had a very impressive season overall, but the Thunder are a great team, and the Thunder have some potential to go back-to-back next year would be my thoughts on this. But so the Thunder have won the championship. And after that took place, the NBA draft took place just a couple days after, so pretty quick. So for the Charlotte Hornets, I'm a halfway fan since I'm a North Carolina resident now. And they had the 4th pick in the draft, and they took Con Kneppel, a guard from Duke. And he's a 6'5", 219-pound shooter, passer, and defender is what they're saying. I'm hoping that will be the case. I think that could fit in really well around there with the Hornets. I think they could use a lights out shooter. And, hopefully he will be getting a lot of assists from LaMelo and draining threes like nobody's business would be my guess. And then my favorite NBA team, the Atlanta Hawks, they have, since I've last talked to you, they have made a big trade, and they've also gone through the draft. So I want to talk about that. So the Atlanta Hawks have traded for Kristaps Porzingis. So the trade was between the Hawks, the Celtics, and the Nets. It was a 3-team trade. Kristaps Porzingis and a second-round pick to the Hawks. Terrence Mann and Hawks 22nd pick to the Nets. And George Niang and a second-round pick to the Celtics. So Porzingis is on a $30 million expiring contract. And I think if he's playing and healthy, he could really help out the Hawks. I don't know if they're going to try to sign him long-term. I don't know if this is going to be a see how he plays this year kind of thing. But he could potentially be a good piece. I know with the Hawks, you have to have a lot of muted excitement with their seasons. It's a smart move, so you don't want to get too hype on things. But looking at the roster, anticipating them being healthy, I think they could have a shot at it in the East, especially with the East being down. We're going to be missing Halliburton. We're going to be missing Jason Tatum next year to injuries, and there is a little bit of an opening there in the East for someone else to rise up. So I think the Hawks, I don't want to say they could or they should. I think they should. I don't know if they could or they would, but we will see. The Hawks now have Kristaps Porzingis. I think he could be a really nice option. I think they have a little bit of a logjam with Okongwu and Capella now, some of their big guys. So I'm kind of excited to see what else is going to happen to the roster before the season kicks off. So that was been a big addition before the actual draft. And then on draft day, the Hawks made a draft day trade with the Pelicans from pick 13, dropping 10 spots to 23. So they dropped 10 spots. They got the 23rd pick, and they got a first round from next year from the Pelicans. So a pretty good trade there, I would say, especially if there was multiple players they were interested in or if their player was still on the board. And then the Hawks ended up taking, with the 23rd pick in the draft, round 1, Asa Newell, a forward from UGA. So he's a 6'9", 224-pound guy. They're touting his size, mobility, and aggressiveness. So I think that sounds good. Get another big, tall body on the squad who can hopefully catch some lobs. And I don't know what kind of his shooting or handling is, but if he is an athletic guy, I think that could be a good addition to the Hawks squad. So that's everything going on in the NBA. The NBA draft took place. There were some trades going down, and we're going to see what the Hawks have for us this year. I'm hoping something good. I'm interested to see what other kind of moves they're going to make, and I hope Kristaps can be healthy. I hope Jalen Johnson can be healthy, and hopefully Trey can be as well. We can see what they got. So I think overall pretty good moves, and I'm still having some muted expectations here for the Hawks. So that's everything that took place in the NBA. And the last sports update for the MLB, the Atlanta Braves, my favorite team ever. It's been a little bit of up and down. I guess more down. But since last Sunday, the Braves lost 3-5 against the Marlins. Pretty sad stuff there. They should be beating the Marlins with their eyes closed. I guess maybe not. Not these Braves with the way they're playing. So I gotta lower my expectations. Monday at the Mets. So they've been playing the Mets again. At the Mets, the Braves won 3-2 on Monday. Tuesday at the Mets, the Braves won 7-4. So as they should. Wednesday at the Mets, the Braves lost 3-7. This is where the week starts going bad. Lost 3-7. Thursday at the Mets, the Braves lost 0-4. And then Friday versus the Phillies, the Braves lost 0-13. In this game, I think it was the third inning. They were down 0-10, 0-9, something crazy like that. And I even turned the game off. I'm like, I'm not going to watch this. There's potential for a comeback. I don't really believe it. And then they did not come back 1 ounce. So very, very disheartening there on that Friday loss to the Phillies, 0-13. And then Saturday versus the Phillies, the Braves actually got it back together yesterday, 6-1. That game was on Fox, so I didn't actually watch it since it's not on the FanDuel Sports Network app. Today, the Braves play the Phillies once again to close out the week. And then the Braves will get a day off tomorrow, 3 versus the Angels in Atlanta, and then 3 versus the Orioles in Atlanta. So nice for them to be in Atlanta all week. And those should all be winnable games against the Angels and the Orioles. Nothing to be too scared about. But I guess thinking about this, the Braves should be scared of a lot of teams since they have been performing pretty poorly. But it's not quite the All-Star game yet. We're getting pretty close to it. I think it's maybe a couple weeks away. And they really need to get some type of positive trend going here for the Braves for them to have any shot at, trying to make some noise or sneak into the postseason or make a run. So I think it really is put up or shut up time for the Braves. It's been a lot of kind of fun and games up until this point, a little bit of like, shit, what are they doing? What's going on? But I think this is really when the rubber meets the road and they really got to put the pedal to the metal, and not any other kind of phrase like that you can think of. It's like put up or shut up time, and the Braves got to get it together. So that's my hope. And I hope they can do it this week against the Angels. And T's and P's also the Ron Washington. He was a great coach, part of the staff for the Braves for a long time. Been a skipper before. He gets this new gig with the Angels out there last year, and he's having some pretty bad health issues this year. I think it's keeping him out for the remainder of the year. So he was one of my favorite coaches to watch on the Braves. He seems like a great clubhouse guy, and thoughts and prayers to him battling whatever kind of sickness or whatever's going on with him. And shout out to his family and friends as well. Sad news out there for the fun to watch Ron Washington. So T's and P's to you, sir. And what else do I want to say about the Braves? I don't know. It's been a little bit of a tough season, but it's still the greatest sport in the world, still the best team in the world to watch, and Ronald Acuna Jr., best player on the planet, and he's been healthy back playing, so I am happy about those things. So it's not all doom and gloom, and hopefully we'll never be all doom and the gloom. So those are all my updates for the sports world. All my favorite teams we talked about: the Carolina Panthers, the Charlotte Hornets, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Atlanta Braves. No general MLB news for you this week. And that's everything I have for you. That's everything in the Miscellaneous Talk section. And that's everything for the entire show. So I want to reiterate some promotional talk from the beginning to please help me out. Follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. Find the best place to subscribe and listen weekly. Maybe tell a friend. Places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, and more. YouTube is also a great place to watch me play some games live or check out the videos later. If you'd like to support the show even further than just listening, Patreon.com/Dep Lewis Show is available if you'd like to subscribe monthly. Also, Venmo at Dep Lewis Show is available any day, anytime, for any amount if you'd like to support this show. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a wonderful week out there in the world, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. I hope everything goes well. I hope if things are going poorly for you, I hope that changes. I hope you get a new video game. I hope you get to see a cute dog. I hope you get some time off work. I hope you hit the lottery. I hope you eat something good. And then I also hope you come back and listen to another episode of Dep Lewis Show next week, because that's where I'll be. Thank you so much for interacting with any of my content always. I really appreciate it. I have so much fun doing this, and I'll be back next week to talk more video games. So I will see you then. Goodbye.